including an update on the Prime Minister's social media account in the Chinese language, WeChat, of course, if not owned, directly controlled, of course, by everything that happens back in Beijing. This is the way that 1.2 million Australians of Chinese descent have communication, not just amongst themselves, but also being able to communicate with things back home, if home is there, or certainly where their family may be. This is a place where politicians exist because they want to talk to those people because, of course, they have a say in the election. Well, 1.2 million people won't be hearing from Scott Morrison anytime soon because somebody has taken over his account. Geez, I wonder who it might be. The somebody claims that all of this was a giant surprise, that only one person could purchase it. And apparently the only reason they wanted to purchase it was because the Prime Minister had an awful lot of followers. Now, you can't do that on things like Twitter, even though I don't use it anymore, or Instagram or Facebook, but you magically can do it on WeChat. And you'd imagine that there would be television, radio, or other cultural performers that are big in Australia that have bigger followings than Scott Morrison. But of course, they haven't seen their accounts cut off. And amazingly, you would think that an attempt to shut down an Australian Prime Minister from being able to speak to their own citizens in a language that is friendly to them and their families, that the result would be that everyone in the establishment of Australian politics would say, okay, this is not on. We're all pulling out. Well, that's what the Liberal MPs are saying that they will do, but not a peep from a single Labor MP. No one even asks Anthony Albanese, will he pull out of this? Because, of course, he sees an advantage here. And if he sees an advantage in something that clearly seems to be very targeted from Beijing to the Prime Minister of Australia, then surely he should understand that when he is the Prime Minister of Australia, the same thing can happen to him. They keep telling us that they are absolutely in lockstep when it comes to China. First test, your WeChat account. Are you willing to keep using it while the Prime Minister can't use his? You either believe in the free access and free speech or you don't. But sadly, because for too many in our political class it is just about power, the principle disappears. The only time they care about principle is when they think it helps them attain more power. And so often from the left, if something like this was to happen on their side of the ledger, well, then it becomes a news story for weeks. When it happens to the Thanos of prime ministers who they don't like, then of course they just consider it one little brick that's been removed in the wall of resistance to their inevitable revolution. As I've told you many, many times, if, like me, you are frustrated by what these people do, delay their revolution for 3 years, disappoint them, and keep the current status quo when it comes to elections.